In the meantime, now U.S. stock futures edged higher Thursday, signaling a comeback from a rally break in prior session on the starting day of the highly anticipated gathering of central bankers in Jackson Hole. Futures for the Dow Jones Industrial Average were up 0.13% to 21,825, while the futures for the S&P 500 index moved up 0.1%. The Nasdaq 100 turned higher, rising 0.2% to 5,862. The indicated gains would mark a slight recovery after the main indexes finished in the red on Wednesday, undoing previous solid gains. And equity markets in Asia gained slightly on Thursday, with indexes trading in a tight range as investors await guidance from a key meeting of global central bankers. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index led the region's increases, rising 0.4% as it played catch-up after being shut the previous session from Typhoon Haijo in the market's first full-day trading suspension due to weather since October. Elsewhere in the region, South Korea's Kospi rose 0.4%, while Australia's S&P ASX 200 reversed early weakness to end up 0.1%, and that was lifted by gains in mining stocks. Meanwhile, Japan's Nikkei stock average fell 0.4% despite the US dollar's recovery against the yen in Asian trade. Now, back here in Nigeria, the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, will be at the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Monday next week to commission the newly built data center and close the trading day. But how has the use of technology impacted on the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange? The Executive Director, Markets and Technology at the NSE, Mr. Ade Bajomo, joins us now. Many thanks for coming on the program, Mr. Bajomo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So tell us more about this new data center.
As you know already, the exchange has been on a digital transformation drive. Since 2013, we have invested significantly in technology for quite a number of reasons. We believe that with the right technology, we can actually expand market access, we can actually enhance liquidity, we can drive financial literacy, and more importantly, also facilitate financial inclusion. And we've invested in the XGen platform, we've invested in a number of platforms that actually provide, if you like, transparency and allow investors to have better access and more timely access to data. So all of these services, all this digitization drive actually all converge in what we call data centers, or in a smaller perspective, server rooms. So the data centers are really where all the cloud services and other apps and applications that may run in an organization actually run from. So it's so important that the data center is highly resilient and highly available. And this new data center will ensure that we can continue to deliver on all our aspirations in terms of ensuring we bring about a proper digital transformation and better investor participation in the market.
Why is the NSE involving the government in this data initiative?
Effectively, we really believe that what we do is part of a broader ecosystem, and the government clearly plays a very, very important part in actually providing an enabling environment for businesses of all sorts to thrive. And in particular, in science and technology and data, we believe this is a key driver for our economy. And we participated with government on a number of initiatives. One of the recent ones is the federal government whistleblowing side, which we actually developed within the NSE, working in collaboration with the government. So we see that collaboration with government, with business, with our community, very, very essential to the development of not just the market, but also our country.
Now, I'm sure many would like to know how the use of technology has impacted activities at the Nigerian Stock Exchange so far.
In terms of impacting on activities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we seek to actually leverage and use, if you like, the government ministries and agencies, not just the science and tech, to attract listings to the market. Listings obviously are very important in terms of telecoms and techpreneurs that we're seeing. And we hope to leverage that and actually position the NSE as the destination where techpreneurs specifically and all sorts of other entrepreneurs can come in and realize the dream of actually raising money, growing their business, and actually deepening both the market and providing more opportunities for investors.
Executive Director, Markets and Technology at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Mr. Adebajomo, many thanks for coming on Business Incorporated.
Thank you.
Moving on now, most African economies may not be performing as well as expected, but that's not reflecting at the bond market, and that's according to a Bloomberg report quoting an economist at Renaissance Capital, Charles Robertson. The report shows that although every African nation sold dollar debt now has at least one junk grade, they're not as bad as they were in the 1980s when oil prices fell to about $10 a barrel. The continent's Eurobonds have outperformed emerging markets, returning investors about 9% in 2017, compared with 7.7% for developing nations. According to Standard Bank's index, the average yield for dollar securities sold by sovereign issuers from the continent fell to 6.1% on August the 3rd, and that's the lowest level since 2015. Now, Niger state government has signed a $450 million memorandum of understanding with Dangote Group for the setting up of an integrated sugarcane plantation and a sugar refinery plant in the state. The state governor, Abubakar Bello, signed for the government, while the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, endorsed the agreement on behalf of Dangote Sugar Refinery in Minna, the state capital.
The $450 million deal, which was signed in Niger State, will see the Dangote Group producing raw sugarcane on 16,000 hectares of land at Lavon local government through an outgrower scheme. The company, which is operating the same scheme in rice production in a number of states across the country, has Africa's largest sugar refinery in Lagos and a sugarcane plantation in Numan, Adamawa State. The Niger State Governor, Abubakar Bello, believes the deal will revolutionize agriculture in his state and Nigeria.
What we are doing here today underscores our desire to change the economic narratives of the state from a mono source to a state economy with multiple sources of income. Only last week, at our first investment summit, we signed another key memorandum of understanding for the acquisition, design, and development of an agricultural city around the Tekina area.
Going by the words of the president of the group, Aliko Dangote, the project will generate over 15,000 jobs in the state and bring about a complete economic turnaround.
To achieve 1.5 million metric tons of sugar, we need a little bit over 150,000 tons of, 150,000 hectares of land. And these 150,000 hectares of land, we want to also introduce an outgrower where we will also empower farmers around the area to grow the sugar. We'll give them all the implements, everything, and then we will guarantee to buy whatever they grow.
A representative of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment explains that the project is in line with the federal government's Industrial Revolution Plan, which will see a drastic reduction in food importation.
Business Incorporated returns in just a moment. Please stay with us.